What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie. Still have blepharitis in this eye, hence the sunglasses. It's getting better, but it does not like this light, and so it waters. So I tried to make a video without the sunglasses, but not there yet. Continuing my deep dive into Neil Young's studio catalog, we have his 24th official studio album, 1996, Broken Arrow. I'm going to review this, then I'm going to rank it among all the other studio albums, plus a couple live albums that I've done, like the Time Fades Away stuff, Rust Never Sleeps. That'll be at the end of the video. Also going to rank the songs. Broken Arrow. I kind of consider this the last of sort of the Freedom, the late 80s through 90s. This is sort of the final act of this before we kind of move on to the new millennium era. Sort of a dessert. A loose feeling album. Neil Young's longtime producer David Briggs passed away shortly before the recording of this or during the recording, and they were having a hard time, so they played a bunch of shows at Half Moon Bay in California in early 96 to prepare for this. One of those songs is on here, literally like I think a jacket bootleg cassette recording, I think is what it was. And so there is a very, especially the first three songs, maybe even four of the first five songs, a very loose, jammy, not this like complex Fish type jam or even a Dead type jam, but more like a 60s Velvet Underground, just like we got a groove, we got some drums pounding away, let's layer just sounds on top of it and just let Neil make noises or just jam on like one idea for like 5 minutes. This very loose, bare bones might not be the bad word, but wrong word, but just this very straightforward, loose jamming quality of like a bunch of guys in a garage or a club in Half Moon Bay, just like, let's try to stretch this out for like 5 more minutes. Think we can do it? Let's do it. Just a fun album. We get like 3 pretty epic songs. I think the first 3, there's 7 songs total. The first 3 songs themselves total like over 25 minutes. Then we get a handful of short songs. Then we end with like this live bootleg track. It's Neil Young and Crazy Horse. It's just, I don't know. It's a very cathartic listen coming after this crazy journey of like Freedom, Ragged Glory, Harvest Moon, Sleeps with Angels, Mirrorball. This really seems like everything that Neil's been processing in this era, all of his commentary on either politics or his reaction to grunge or his reaction to Cobain. It all kind of seems to be channeled through here in like this cathartic way. There is one song on here that I thought had a sort of a Cobain reference. Big Time, I think it's the one, like he keeps saying, I'm still living the dream we had, like almost like he's dealt with the fact that these like, I don't know, the struggles of youth and that youth struggling using his own words, and he's kind of made it through this era. He made it through with Pearl Jam and the awesome Mirrorball. And there's just something about this album that like, it doesn't feel not ambitious, but it also doesn't feel like a statement album. It feels like statements are being made because it's Neil Young. We don't have any really throwaway songs about cars or dogs or anything like that. But it does feel like he's comfortable with just being himself here in a weird way. And it almost feels like an afterthought of an album, but it also has this really long-lasting impact that still to this day, every time I listen to it, the first 3 songs are just so absolutely compelling. And then the 3 songs that follow it, which are the shorter ones, really are almost like, all right, we're going to calm you down. We're just going to bring you down after that opening intensity. And then the last song is this bootleg quality blues jam, a Jimmy Reed cover that's got some great Neil guitar playing. The vocals are kind of buried, a lot of talking. I mean, you can hear the audience. I kind of wish that last track was maybe something different. I think I would rank this higher if that last track was a little more ambitious. But as this is, it's a great listen. And the album's like, 50 minutes long? The last track's like 8 minutes. It's 47 minutes. So even without that last track, it's a 39-minute album. And it's a really healthy, really good listen. Opens up with a track called Big Time, which of the 3 longer songs, I think this is the one that maybe has a little more dynamic energy to it. Nevertheless, it's just this like plodding rocker that just kind of keeps going on. But there's some nice little changes throughout. Some great like guitar melodies and playing by Neil. Keeps like I'm still living the dream we had. There definitely seems to be this. I'm just imagining this post Cobain reflective thing that Neil's going through. There's like these lines repeated, like I'm going to leave and do this, or I'm talking about this. There's just a really nice energy and groove and melody to the song. The drumming is absolutely fantastic. And this is another one, like there was a track on Sleeps with Angels that gives me Built to Spill vibes. Not that Neil is heard their first, what I think 2 albums at this point had dropped for them. Maybe they had just dropped their 3rd. I don't think so yet. But that they were obviously listening to Neil, and that sort of informed some of Built to Spill songwriting, especially in the later part of the 90s. But this is just a patient, confident, steady 7+ minutes of just like crazy horse mid-tempo plodding rocker. But I mean plodding, just like we're just beating the drums as Neil just makes noises. A fantastic start. Then we get Loose Change. Got a little more harmonica action in there. Does feel just maybe a little bit rootsier of a vibe, especially with that harmonica. It's 9 minutes long. The song's kind of about looking forward and building a future, but then also looking back and realizing like you still got some loose change in your pocket from the past that you can maybe still utilize. Heavy on harmonica. Once we kind of dispel with the song itself, which is about 4.5, maybe not even that long, like the last 5 minutes of this song, it's like close to 10 minutes long. It really is just this same, like it's one chord, it's pounding drums, it's this monotonous, but not boring, relentless. Monotonous might not be the bad word, that might actually mean boring, but it's just this repetitive, pounding, throbbing, relentless attack of just crazy horse and Neil. It is absolutely fantastic. I think a lot of bands would have like pulled the plug on this at like, 4.5 minutes and be like, that's the song. Neil's like, nah, we can go until like 10. Let's stretch this out and just push it. It's exhilarating. And I think the best part of it is Big Time from the beginning of Big Time almost feels like a bigger song, almost feels like it's going to be like this crazy horse rock epic. I don't think Loose Change feels like that for like the first 3 or 4 minutes. I think it feels like a more typical harmonica-induced, rootsier, maybe country-flavored song. But then like halfway through, you realize, oh no, we're going to push this one to the limits too. Absolutely fantastic. And then next up is Slip Away. 8.5 minutes. Another absolute epic. Kind of a little murkier, kind of a thicker, grungier groove, maybe a little bit sludgier, equally epic. The guitar playing in this is haunting. It's that gut emotion that Neil puts into like his, just like the Cortezes and the Hurricanes, and just those really evocative, long drawn out, crazy horse supported like solos. The lyrics are about somebody who just slipped away. There is this sort of eulogy feel to it. They're more poetic, I think, than they are specific, but you do get the feeling of loss in this. And it's just haunting. And Neil's vocals have this almost like higher register, ghost-like quality, a little whispery and airy, and maybe in the distance, like they're, ephemeral. But the drums just pounding and repetitive, and it becomes hypnotic by the end of it. And you're just like, it's exhilarating, but it's also exhausting, but you want to go back and do it again because it's like a roller coaster ride that's like tough on the body, like the Colossus in Magic Mountain in California, that old wooden one, where you're like, that was a blast, but man, I got bruises after that thing. Kind of what Slip Away makes me feel like. It's just, it hits the sonic assault plus the emotional assault plus that Neil, just that haunting Neil quality that Neil does just better than anybody else as a guitar player. And that's like the first 26 minutes of the album, those 3 songs. Then we get 3 shorter songs, Changing Highways, which is like your 2.5 minutes of fun, harmless little mid-tempo rocker, feels like a breather. We get Scattered, which feels like the energy of the first 3 songs, and then the energy of Changing Highways, which kind of dates back, I think this is what, a 1996 album, dates back to like 74, I think is the first time this was played, or, I think was maybe going to be recorded and released. But Scattered feels scattered. It feels like there's an exhaustion setting in, and the energy is maybe a little more diffuse. but it's still really engaging. But there's just this, like Neil starts off all by himself on guitar with just this awesome tone and sort of awesome, like some nice low key playing. Crazy Horse, there's still energy and it's still loose, but it just feels not as tightly reined in, or is not as like, the assault is not as relentless. It does feel a little scattered. The song is called Scattered, parentheses, Let's Think About Living, close parentheses. So maybe that extra space is supposed to inspire you to think about living. But I think the title matches perfectly. We got 4 songs at the end of this. There's 8 songs total. I've been wrong about the song count the whole time. It's 3 and then 4. We get a song called This Town, about a sleepy little town, like a low key, kind of creeping little mid-tempo number. Then we get Music Arcade, which is like a quieter acoustic thing. Great line about how he's like, I was walking down Main Street, not the sidewalk, but Main Street, because that's how good I was feeling that day. But it's in this nice, like, acoustic vibe. Just a really good feeling song. So yeah, you got the 3 songs, which are like 25 minutes plus. You got these 4 songs, which the longest of which is 2 are about 4 minutes, 2 are under 3. And then the final song is Baby What You Want Me to Do, a Jimmy Reed cover, apparently a bootleg, like cassette in the jacket, recorded at this Half Moon Bay show in early 96. Sound is horrible, but you can hear the guitar. You can make out, you definitely get the vibe and the atmosphere. And I'm like, I don't know, like, why did Neil choose to put this on? Like, Neil has a history of fantastic sounding live recordings. Why did he choose to put this on? I'm sure he has other boots. We know other people recorded stuff that eventually would be re-released, like Songs for Judy. That was originally all bootlegged. It was based off like bootleg soundboard tapes, not like official tapes. So what was he trying to say? Like, I just don't know what he was trying to say in this. Like, it's just a celebration of music. Like, no matter what happened after Kurt Cobain, he was just like, I just want to celebrate music no matter what it sounds like. We're doing a Jimmy Reed cover. We're in a bar in Half Moon Bay. I don't know. I just, whatever Neil's thinking about here, I just, it's probably my least favorite track as I get to the rankings soon, just because of the sound quality. I do wish there was something just epic to close out the album, a statement song, maybe one huge statement song. But it is a very interesting way to end what I think is an absolutely fascinating album. And it is truly one of those that I think the first 3 songs might blow you away the first listen, because I think they're epic and impressive. But those last 4 songs, the more I listen to this album, the more I'm like, you need those 4 songs after that opening. And there's a value to those. And there's something about turning it down and turning the heat down and turning the volume down to end this before we get into that bootleg thing. I don't know. It's a fascinating journey. It's more needs to be said about this or written about this, but that's all I'm going to do for now, because I think I covered, most of it. Where would I rank the songs? I have the songs ranked there. I do have that bootleg thing just at the bottom, just pretty much because of sound quality. Plus, it's pretty much a blues cover, and I'm not the biggest fan of blues covers. The 3 songs, Big Time, Slip Away, and Loose Change, I have my top 3. I think Big Time is just such an incredible opener, and it just sets the table so well for the 2 songs that follow. Slip Away, I think the emotive aspect of that affects me a little more than the rootsier vibe of Loose Change, though that jam at the end of Loose Change is absolutely, absolutely epic. And then we got Scattered. You need that emotion at that point. Music Arcade, which is just great lyrics and a great vibe. Then Changing Highways. So that's how I would rank the songs. Am I missing a song again? Oh, This Town. Man, I'm missing This Town on my list as I'm doing this. But I am dropping This Town after Music Arcade. So you are seeing This Town in the right place. I had it off my list. That's where I rank the songs. If I had to rank the albums, this is what the top 12 looks like. It is not in the top 12. And yes, After the Gold Rush is still comfortably at number 10. Not comfortably. It's a little scared it's going to be knocked out of the top 10. Which means if we look at 13 through 31, is that how many extra bonus ones I've done? Broken Arrow is at 16. Look at that. Ragged Glories. Look at this top. I mean, if you go back to what 12 was Harvest Moon. Then you have Ragged Glory, Sleeps with Angels, Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow, that last track is on par with any of the first 3 tracks. For me, Broken Arrow jumps at least to 15 above Sleeps with Angels, because those first 3 tracks are just so perfect. But right now it's at a comfortable 16. Like this is deep. This man has deep pockets, people. Neil Young, like you go down to early days, which I have at 26 only because it's got stuff I'd rather hear other versions of those songs. It's early Crazy Horse. I'd rather hear other live versions and stuff. And I just don't listen to it, though it's a good album. That's at 26. Yeah, man's fantastic. He's a fantastic artist. All right, I'm rambling at this point. That's all I got. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all those stuff. Leave me all your thoughts on this album. I will appreciate reading them, and may comment back if you want a discussion. All right. Thanks for watching. If you have not heard this, go check it out and let it simmer. Just let it simmer. All right. Peace. Talk to you later.